Guys, welcome to What's Barking Local. My name is Jerry Miller. It's great to be with you on a fantastic Wednesday across Charlottesville, Central Virginia, the Commonwealth, and the world. What's Barking Local, powered by Animal Connection. For more than 17 years, there's one all-natural pet store, and it's located in McIntyre Plaza that has successfully served Charlottesville, Albemarle County, and Central Virginia. That is Animal Connection. Animal Connection, the brainchild of Patty Boden, the entrepreneur and businesswoman behind the most successful all-natural pet store in the Commonwealth. I think we should go, Judah Wickhauer, our director, to the two-shot and welcome our star of the program, Patty Boden, to the show. Patty, hello.
Hey, hey.
Thank you kindly for joining us and for setting up this fantastic interview with Toan, which we'll get to.
This is going to be so good.
How about the week ahead and the week that was for Patty Boden?
Well, let's start with the week that was. And boy, it was a busy one. The first part of the week, we were trekking all the way to Las Vegas to the biggest pet trade show in the entire world. It's called Super Zoo, and it is just the hugest thing. I mean, you couldn't walk the entire show if you didn't know what you were doing in 3 days, but we did a lot of shopping, and we were also there to be presented the Retailer of the Year Award for Social Media and Marketing. Yay, this is by Pet Product News, and we were just thrilled to get that little piece of paper and credentials and just add that to our list of increasing awards.
The Retailer of the Year. It's got to make you feel good.
I love it. It's hard work, and you're a part of it, and Judah's a part of it, and we all work really hard for things like this. So there you go.
What was going through your mind when they announced your name?
Well, I knew months. I knew 2 months before, and I had to keep it a secret. So that was the hardest part. But it's kind of nice because your peers are there and people that we know that won other divisions of Retailer of the Year. It's just like a nice little sorority, fraternity. Just everyone's cheering for each other. It's really nice.
I love it. What else? Now, I'll tell you what. We had a number of interactions this week. We got you in studio doing a radio commercial.
That's right.
In studio doing a TV commercial.
Yep.
All with one common theme.
Dogfest. It's September 29th at Ix Art Park. And boy, am I saying that a lot better. Ix Art Park.
So look for Patty on NBC 29 and across the Monticello media station, specifically Hot 101.9. Dogfest, how's the planning going?
Yeah, it was really going well, and it was so great to be on screen with Matt Tollem.
Yeah.
I mean, he's such a nice guy, and he's going to be judging the costume contest at Dogfest.
Yeah.
That's going to be super fun. Get your costumes ready. Last year we had over 100 dogs in the costume contest alone, so that's going to be fun, and they're just so easy to work with, and we so appreciate them donating and making all this radio and TV space possible for what's going to be a great event.
I remember working about 13 years ago with Matt Tollem of NBC 29. He is a fantastic anchor. He's going to make a great judge. And I'm going to bet that the entries for the costume contest at Dogfest could be record-setting this year.
It could be. I mean, we have a great lineup of judges. You're going to be a judge.
I'm excited.
Amy Wicks-Horn, who's been on the show before, is going to be a judge. We have a real cast. So you're going to want to try to impress this set of judges because they're worth impressing.
Well, and on top of that, you have a fabulous prize we're competing for.
We do. It's going to be a $500 gift certificate. I mean, that's not chump change, people.
$500 gift certificate to where?
To Animal Connection.
Yes.
Absolutely.
$500
you should be in marketing.
Goes a long way when you have an animal.
That's right. That's a lot of pet food, a lot of kitty chow.
Are you going to MC the event like you did last time?
I will. I love doing that.
Yeah,
It's
you
fun.
were good at it.
Yeah, and we'll have the Pollocks there. They'll be doing a little background music, and it's going to be really fun.
We're really going to start driving awareness for Dogfest coming up.
Oh, yeah.
You have one more, is it from a rescue group that we want to highlight?
But we do, true. But we also want to thank Scott Wagner and his group for the amazing block party last Friday. I mean, there was beer and barbecue and a really fun band and vendors, and he was so nice to invite us to be a part of that. And Animal Connection had a nice booth and gave away lots of treats, and it was just so fun. Even in the rain, it was really fun.
Our client, Scott Wagner Chiropractic and Sports Medicine, gave $5,000 to the Service Dogs of Virginia.
Yep.
Dr. Wagner and his team have done $25,000 in donations over the last 5 years. Look for the block party recap video on ilovecville.com tomorrow. It features Patty Boden and Conrad Zeller as well.
Oh boy, that'll be memorable. My only other thing is I do want to put out a request. Our buddies at Peaceful Passings, who specialize in senior pet rescue. It's basically a rescue. They do hospice work. They just provide a nice end of life for animals and when their people aren't able to take care of them. And they desperately need some canned food for their dogs. So please consider coming by Animal Connection and making a purchase of, even one can. If you got $1, we'll happily take a donation of a can. But, we'd like to get some food for them as quickly as we can.
I love it. Jackie Myers and her team.
Yes.
We have her book on the shelf
That's
fame
right.
over here.
Loving an Older Dog.
On a book recently. Now, Patty Boden has welcomed... I think just an ambassador of Charlottesville and an ambassador of the small business community and of the entrepreneurial community to the show.
Well, this is really special because back in the day, 2003, when I opened Animal Connection, I think everything was industrial except for this fantastic little coffee shop. It's not such a little coffee shop. It's really a little coffee shop with a big following. And this is Toan Nguyen. Toan started this coffee shop, when there was nothing there, but heavy industrial and offices and whatnot. He took a place that was really kind of derelict and made it beautiful. It's a family-oriented place, but there's a lot of things he's involved in. I think most importantly is the Community Investment Collaborative. And this is a group that helps people with low income. Maybe they don't have college education, but they have a really good idea for a business. They just need some help. They need some mentorship. They need an opportunity to maybe seek funds for their project. And that's what this group does. And they're super successful. They have provided mentorship for, I think the webpage says, over 89 successful businesses since its inception in 2011. Toan's also involved in CVille Central, which helps people get big contracts or government contracts. Smaller businesses that don't know how to present contracts, information for contracts. They help them get bigger jobs. So, I could talk about Toan forever.
Let's let him do it.
Let's let him exactly.
Let's
let him do it.
Toan to the show.
Here he is.
Toan, hello. Thank you for joining us.
Hey, Jerry. Hey, Pat. Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure. Your brand, and we will get to shortly, means so much to me as well. Before we talk business and entrepreneurship, localize, humanize, and personalize. Toan the man. What makes you tick, sir?
So I'm from Vietnam.
Okay.
And what made me tick is ever since I was little, my father has instilled in us that you have to help other people. And that was the drive that kept me going. And in fact, the reason I went to school, I went to architecture school here, University of Virginia.
Oh, wow.
And then the Darden Business School with the express purpose of going back to Vietnam to help rebuild after the war. And so that was the goal. That was the plan. And we came here 35 years ago when my wife, Betsy Patrick, went to law school here. So we came, and then we were going to go back to Vietnam. In fact, we were living in Paris after Darden. I worked for United Technologies. And just on the eve of going back to Vietnam, I made a big decision, which is to spend more time with my family. That is more important than anything because, like they say, charity begins at home. So what I learned was when I was on the jet going to Rome or Tokyo or Singapore for business, that sounds very sexy, and every Darden student wants to do that. Work for a big company and fly everywhere. What you learn is when you're on in that big fancy hotel, you're not there with your family.
The opportunity cost.
Exactly, absolutely. Right. So I made a big decision is, family come first. And so we decided to move back to Charlottesville. And to build a business where you're in control of your own time. You know that, Patty and Jerry. You know that as business owner.
Exactly.
You're in control of your own time. And that's more important to me than anything. So that's why we moved back to Charlottesville. And we have a degree from Darden, specialized in international business. There is not too much demand for that. They say you're a nice guy, you're a smart guy, you have a lot of experience internationally, but we really don't need you. So I have to start my own business, and we start CVille Coffee. But the background, what drove me, like you say, what makes Toan tick, is still that desire to help people, to make life better for people who don't have the same opportunities. And so when Charlottesville had this great program, I don't know if you knew about that. It's called Dialogue on Race. Patty, have you heard of that?
No.
Dialogue on Race was
Dialogue on Race.
On Race.
Okay.
Yep.
Right.
This happened in 2010. It's about bringing what happened at Vinegar Hill in the 60s.
Right.
To the forefront, and let's talk about it, because it's for so long it lay buried and it festered, and it's just you just need to talk about. And so Dialogue, I think Charlene Green, who from the Office of Human Rights, led that, and they used to have these sessions at CVille Coffee about what happened in the 60s. And I personally never heard about it. I mean, I went to, my wife went to law school here, I went to architecture school and then Darden Business School, but you never exposed to the history of Charlottesville. So once I heard about it, and to make a long story short, I don't know if viewers knew about this, but basically down the street here where the Staple is an area called Vinegar Hill.
Right.
And in the 60s, it was, and there was a thriving African-American community.
It was destroyed by local government.
Yeah. Absolutely. It was taken away, completely destroyed. And this was a thriving hub for African-American businesses. There was nightclubs, there was accountant, there was grocery store, there was vet store, and that was totally destroyed. And it was just a travesty. And that's, that action by local governments still reverberate to this day.
Yeah. Generational impact.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so I was exposed to that. And then, after hearing that, an epiphany came to my mind. It's like, I don't have to fly 2,000 miles back
to make an
Vietnam.
impact.
Yes, Charlottesville is my Vietnam. And so that's when I say, what can I do to help remedy that? And so the crux of CIC, or Community Investment Collaborative, we call it CIC, is, the society took away businesses from individuals. How do we help people restart businesses one at a time, right? And that's the whole idea of social entrepreneurism. Instead of just keep giving the fish to people, you teach them how to fish.
Exactly.
And so now you look at the people, they don't have education, they didn't go to Darden, they don't have money, they don't even have collateral to borrow money, but what they have is a passion and hard work.
And a good idea.
Right. And so with that, CIC was born to provide all that. So CIC, what we do is we provide education, a 3-month education, basically a mini MBA. How do you start a business? How do you promote it? Hire Jerry, partner with Jerry to get the brand out there.
Right.
We assign a mentor to the person. We lend money, even with no credit. And then most importantly, we create a network for these businesses to thrive, because that's the most powerful thing that any business can have, is a network for them. And we have been very successful in doing that.
And you have so many great people that are involved in mentoring. I mean, I know one of my old friends, Laura Horn's been very
Absolutely.
involved in helping you, and people that know marketing and people that know finance and just all kinds of talents, and they're just so willing to give their time to help others who need it.
This hits close to home for me for a number of different reasons. I will tell you why.
Oh, boy.
One of our tenants in the Macklin building, Francis Ingram, is a product of CIC.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, cool.
One of my good friends who we've had on the I Love CVille show, Lee Elberson, is one of the head honchos of CIC.
Mm-hmm.
Our business, V&V Brands and I Love CVille, have donated a little over $113,000 in 11 years to charities across Central Virginia. And we are of the mindset that you can run a for-profit business, keep it in the black, while also leaving the footprint of our footprint in society in a better place than we first arrived, which is the definition of social entrepreneurship.
Right.
And lastly, why this hits close to home, and I threw this to Toan off air, 11 years ago when I launched this business, I launched it out of 3 spots: CVille Coffee, Paradox Pastry, and a condo that is a rental property now. And I would go to your place, I would have a lunch and a coffee and work for 8 hours, or to Jenny's place at Paradox and do the same.
Mm-hmm.
And I always saw you grinding and working your tail off and fostering this like incredible ecosystem of parents and kids and entrepreneurs and business people that were there to socialize and get work done. And you always made it welcoming and inviting and hospitable. And I remember coming back with the LLC certificate and taking a photo from your table and putting it on social media.
That is wonderful.
I just think the world of CVille Coffee and you and your brand.
Thank you.
And I truly mean this, Charlottesville is lucky to have you as a citizen.
Thank you.
You're here. Absolutely.
Well, I always say Charlottesville is an amazing place is because people like you and Patty and everyone who give back, because it's easy just to take and to enjoy all the work that have come before, but like you say, you need to make a footprint.
That's right. That's right.
To leave something into the pot, and that's what makes Charlottesville so wonderful.
Yeah, leave it better than you found it.
Mm-hmm.
How about the evolution of the brand? When you launched CVille Coffee, the trials and tribulations.
Well, we have some great pictures of the building that
he's playing it.
Oh
He's
my goodness! Oh
shows
boy.
like Shark Tank and The Profit make entrepreneurship seem super sexy in the life of a rock star. It is the absolute opposite. I try to say on this show all the time, I take the trash out, I clean the toilets that are in that hallway. 3 days ago, I was Windexing that door.
Right.
Evolution of CVille Coffee.
So, that space, Patty, when we got it for shelf life. So CVille Coffee was not there.
Oh, that's right. And then Shelf Life made bookcases.
Yeah,
beautiful teak bookcases.
And since my degree was in architecture, I love design. So that space was for furniture making and furniture showcasing, and it was extremely successful. But when we got that space, my daughter, I don't know if you have a picture of our family. Yeah,
this is the space originally. He's going to flip through those photos.
Yeah, the picture of my daughter and my wife and of us all together. My daughter was 8 at the time. She saw this little room where the entrance of CVille Coffee, and she said, "Dad, why don't you do a coffee shop?" That's the other. Do you have the other picture of the family?
Yeah, he's flipping through.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
So she's saying you should do a coffee shop. That way, people stop by, and then get a $2 cup of coffee and look at your furniture. So it's easier to attract them.
Out of the mouths of babes.
Absolutely. So I said, "Wow, that's a great idea." And so CVille Coffee was just the entrance, the beginning of that. And in fact, we named that CVille Coffee Perspective, because I designed the whole architectural drawing as a 3-dimensional perspective. And then when you have a cup of coffee, you share a different perspective on life, right? So it's really clever. It's a double entente. So that's why we name it Perspective. And then I asked my daughter, and she'd say, "What do you think of the name?" She'd say, "Well, Dad, if I stop by that stoplight and look over, and I see the name Perspective, I would think it's a frame shop or something. I would never think it's a coffee shop.
Sounds like you got a brilliant daughter.
Yeah, so I say,
where is she now?
I say, Hattie, what do you think we should name it? She said, well, we're in Charlottesville, which is called CVille, and you're trying to sell coffee, so why don't you call it CVille Coffee? And boom, there we go.
Atta girl.
And then what happened was, so like I say, it was very successful, shelf life. We opened 2000, and guess what happened in 2001? September 11th.
That's right.
And nobody was buying furniture.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, we entered a recession, and nobody, people didn't even know if they have a job, let alone need high-end furniture. So the shelf life just went down the hill, down the tube. So we quickly turn the whole space into a coffee shop.
Wow. I mean, we've had, I've been in McIntyre since 2003. We've had several things, not quite like September 11th, but when they built the bridge and the bypass.
Oh, that was horrible.
And the construction was going on. That was the hardest advertising I have ever had to do in my entire life. I mean, they say that, you advertise during good times heavily, so when a bad time happens, you're prepared. Nothing prepared us for this, but we had to hustle and get people over there.
Sure.
Right?
And then, Jerry, you're saying, there's so many things unforeseen as a business person. So the first shock, let's call it shock, was 2011.
Yeah.
I mean, September 11th, 2001. That was the first shock.
I was the second year at UVA.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Yep.
I remember it well. Canceled classes that day.
Yeah, no, it was horrible. So we had to, I mean, our things just, one business went down the tube. Shelf life went down the tube.
Right.
One. And then the second shock was 2008, recession.
That's right. That was an interesting time.
That
I had
was
just
really
re-signed my lease then and got more and doubled my space. And then that happened. I was like, what the heck?
That's
do we
when
do
I
now?
launched my business in 2008. Took $32,000, which is all the money I had at the time.
Yep.
Put it into the business. Didn't have a single client for 6 months.
Wow.
Watched the money dwindle down to nothing. Was going to Panda Garden Buffet, where right by Lambeth Commons, right across from Barracks. It's not there anymore.
Yeah.
Was going to Panda Garden Buffet with Ziploc bags. And when they were not looking, was scraping the food off my plate into Ziploc bags. And it was my food for myself and my dog for 3 days.
Wow.
Oh,
because
Jerry.
there was no money.
Yeah.
But you do what you got to do.
Exactly.
Wow.
And you know what doesn't break you make you stronger, doesn't it?
Right.
It does.
There we go.
I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
Keep talk to us about CVille Coffee. So you have Novi Behrens. She's watching the show right now. She says, I love CVille Coffee. Her family, one of the families behind Prime 109 and Lampo.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
She's watching right now. Lauren says, thank you for the kids' space.
Yes.
Renee Quisenberry is watching. Tiffany Rosales is watching. Jessica Pastorwhite from Kilwins is watching right now. Steve Rowland says, I love Toan. I love CVille Coffee. Lloyd Snook, who's running for Charlottesville City Council, is watching right now. Give it a like and a share on any of the streams that you're watching the What's Barking Local on. When did you start feeling like you were clicking? That CVille Coffee was like, all right, this is not just a business, but this is something that's like woven into like the essence of the community.
It's a culture.
Yeah.
It's a culture. Yep.
You have like a lifestyle brand almost.
Absolutely.
You really are.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The moment it came together for me was, one time, like you said, I run around, I come out I look around, I see kids playing near the turtle, I see nonprofit meeting, I see, I think Dave Norris used to be our mayor, and that's basically that was his office, CVille Coffee. He's there all the time, and I see students studying, and so I realized this. We are part of the fabric of Charlottesville, and that happens around 2005, because 2001 was when September 11th happened, and it took us 3 years to convert, the whole the big space into something.
That turtle's amazing. Did you design that?
No, so this wonderful artist,
huge wooden
Tom
turtle.
Givens. He's a local Charlotte. You should have him on the show.
Oh,
he's
okay.
amazing because
Nice.
he's the one who did the whale's tail on 250.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so he's, I used to be a craftsman. Obviously, I built all those bookcases, so I know how to work with wood. but I see what he does with wood is he's magical. I
Wow.
mean,
Is it wood?
It's wood. It's walnut. So so the story of that was when I went to Darden, our daughter was 1 year old, and we stopped by Greenberry's on Barracks Road because we love coffee. And when we there, Hattie, who was 1 year old, would crawl around, play around, and they would have mugs, china mugs, right at the lower level, and she would play with it as any kids would play.
Sure.
And we would constantly say, "No, Hattie, stop!" Because if you break it, you buy it,
right?
And so, and nobody wants to be told no all the time, and we keep telling her no.
Especially a kid.
Yeah, a kid. So up to a point where when she sees us turn into Barracks Road, she starts screaming. She's saying, "No, I don't want to go. I don't want to go there," because I'm going to be told no. So when we have CVille Coffee, I remember that. I say, we want kids to be welcome. So we create that space out so encourage kids to play, and we commissioned Tom to design something for kids to play. And I love wood. If you notice at CVille Coffee, there's no formica, there is no fake stuff. Everything is natural. The chair the table that you photograph your LLC on,
and that beautiful bar that you built with all that curved
wood everywhere.
It's really nice.
Yeah. So because my belief is, everywhere you look, everywhere you see, there should be beauty. Then that's the whole essence of CVille Coffee, because you can look at everywhere and it's gorgeous.
And you can hear a lot of beautiful things too. I mean, I'm so glad that you brought the Prism Coffee House back. I mean, what a great place to showcase amazing local and regional talent. I mean, you bring wonderful people in.
We feel very fortunate that the Prism chose us to as their venue, and the history of the Prism was founded in the 60s. And it was housed where Rugby Avenue is.
Yeah.
In the church.
Yep.
I was a Phi Kappa Psi at UVA.
Oh, wow.
The one at the end of the Mad Bowl.
Yeah.
Walked by the Prism all the time at UVA.
Yeah.
Yep. And then, I don't know, do you ever go to one of the show?
I have not.
They're great.
They're great.
Yeah.
I mean, the old one, the original one. So
Conrad was a volunteer for Prism and helped out back in the day.
Yeah, so it's a small space, but now here's the key thing: you can't have alcohol because it's in the church.
Oh, wait a minute! We drank lots of wine in church.
But anyway, they disbanded, and then it's like 8 years ago, and they tried to because they lost the lease, and then they tried to reopen it in Gordonsville, and no one would drive out to Gordonsville; it's too far.
Right.
And then they came to us and say, "Would you like to be our venue?" And it's like, great, it's fantastic, because they bring amazing music.
Oh yeah, we can't wait for Missy Raines to come back.
Oh yeah, she's amazing.
Love her. Yeah.
I think a sign of what we have to do as entrepreneurs and business owners is constantly pivot and evolve our model. I think one of the things you've done exceptionally well as a coffee shop is introduce the food piece, the food revenue stream. You have a thriving food business. I think another thing that you've done exceptionally well as an entrepreneur is the music at the coffee shop.
Sure.
And another thing you've done a lot well. Another thing you've done really well is the beer and wine.
Right.
So my wife and I, it's funny how this comes full circle. Launched the business at CVille Coffee 11 years ago. 2 weekends ago, I'm there with my wife, who's our director of operations, and our 17-month-old son, playing on top of the turtle.
There we go.
At CVille Coffee. Yeah. She's drinking a coffee. I'm having a full Nelson.
Wow.
There you go.
And we're having a good time.
That is great. See?
Yeah.
It was amazing. I just love what you've done. How about the open-ended question of constantly needing to pivot your model to be successful?
So remember what we say, that what doesn't break you make you stronger? So when we first opened, it was purely coffee. And when September 11th happened, we had to sell food to pay for that huge space.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, let's admit it. You got to be
nuts to take that much square feet to sell coffee. For a coffee shop, your coffee shop is ginormous.
Yeah, the darn would take back my diploma.
Right.
They say, sorry, kid.
You should be at like 800 square feet or smaller.
Exactly.
That's a whole lot of latte.
That's a lot of square foot.
A lot of latte.
So we talk about food. So we had to offer food, to justify that space. So the first shock made us pivot to sell food, and when the 2008 happened, the recession, that's when we pivot and have music, because we have to do more stuff.
Right.
And then when the construction near us happened, we pivot and we start doing catering. And actually, people don't see it, they don't know, but we make more money catering now than we do on the retail side.
And your margin's the best with the catering side.
Absolutely.
Well, if you ask the girls at Animal Connection, we think the business could have probably run on coffee and honey bunches, your honey bunch cookies.
One of the things I remember the most about going to the farmer's market in my early times in Charlottesville was you at the farmer's market and the honey bunches.
And the honey bunches,
right.
absolutely. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we
awesome.
started another company called CVille Cookies back in 2007. Mm-hmm. And I always tell any entrepreneur, if you have a product to sell, do the city market. That's the best way to get out there and
beta
expose.
test.
Absolutely. Yeah. And we did it. That was launched. It was very successful. It was on the internet. And then 2008 happened. And we have a few investor. They lost a lot of money. They pulled out. And so we shut that down. But that shows that you have to constantly try new things, right?
That's right.
But because of that, the honey bunch now is an integral part of us. So that failed attempt really created something special for CVille Coffee.
I 100,000% agree. I think when people think CVille Coffee, they think amazing coffee. They think like Tim Cotton is saying online, the crossroads of CVille. Is CVille Coffee. Tim Cotton also said, Toan's first shock was the price to complete the plumbing for the build-out.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Alan Asef says, CVille Coffee has the best coffee in town, bar none. A lot of people watching the show right now. Give it a like and a share on any of the streams. When I mentioned to my wife, that I was going to throw just over $25,000 of company money that could have gone to our family and invest and created a studio here. She said, "What the hell are you doing? Are you crazy? We are having a son. He's in my belly. You're not going to do this." I think this is because the ubiquitous nature of these.
Sure.
And because I was a stockholder in Facebook, and I saw with their earnings report that they were going to emphasize live video streaming because the editorial piece of Facebook, in a lot of ways, influenced and impacted the election. So they needed to pivot their algorithm to do more live video streaming, which could not be manipulated or faked, like fake news could be.
Right.
I'm like, let's do this, and let's see if we can get ahead. And it goes back to what you're saying, and I'm going to throw this to both of you guys. Why don't I throw it to you first? When you're an entrepreneur, getting over the fear of failure or the fear of this could go wrong and I may look bad, that mindset holds people back so much in business. Successful entrepreneurs are not afraid to fail.
You know, this may sound cocky, but when I did Animal Connection, I never even thought I would fail. Now, there was a member of my family then who
Very close member.
Yes. Who desperately thought I needed help and said, you know, if you don't ask me for help, you are destined to fail. I said, really? Watch me. I mean, I had been in advertising for 20-some years by then already. I knew I could sell things. I knew I could sell products. I knew the products mattered to me, that I would appear to be passionate about what I was selling. It never occurred to me that I would be a failure. I may not have made money the first 5 or 6 years, the profits that people are really looking for to define what a successful business is. But during the first year, I had a following. I had a community of pet lovers that wanted to do something differently for their dogs rather than just the run-of-the-mill, no pun intended, foods that were available. And it, like I said, failure was never an option for me. It never has been. I mean, if you challenge me to do something,
it's going to light a fuel
I'm
under
going to
you,
do it.
a fire under you.
Absolutely. I accept the challenge.
I love it. You're going to love this. And then I love your take on this, what we're talking about. Cynthia Hurst, CVille Coffee is such a great supporter of our community's nonprofits. Thank you, Toan, for what you do. Like and share the feed. We'll give some props to some of the viewers, like, is it Rocio Patricia, Goloversik, I'm sorry I'm messing your name up, Jeff Sessler, Mary Hodges, Jason Cooper watching the show right now. Folks in 5 states, in Richmond, Charlottesville, and D.C. watching right now.
How about it?
How about the fear of failure as an entrepreneur?
First of all, I have to say, Jerry, congratulations. This is amazing what you've done. I mean, I'm such a non social media person, but your reach is incredible.
Thank you.
That is so hats off.
Hard at this.
That's great. So I go back to Darn and talk about starting businesses because Darn students love to start business. And what I always tell them that, when you start a business, don't have a good plan B. Because if you have a really good plan B, your plan A will not happen. And if you think about all Darden students have a great plan B, right? Goldman Sachs or
some
McKinsey.
of us have a plan F.
I mean, Goldman Sachs or McKinsey is going to offer them, $50,000 signing bonus and, $300,000 starting salary. Why would you start a business and can lose everything? I mean, would they scrape that buffet food and trying to stay to make it happen, for 3 days? No. I mean, so it takes a vision. It takes believing in yourself because paradoxically, an entrepreneur sees something that's not there. And the favorite phrase that people who don't believe in you or any entrepreneur says, well, if it's such a good idea, someone would have done it already. So why do you think you're going to succeed, right? And I have to say that, having a good partner who believes in you is key to everything. And all the success that we've had as a family is my wife because she does everything. Is amazing. I mean, the honey bunches, that's her recipe. Yep. All the food, the sandwiches, and all that's all her recipe. She's not seen as much because she's more behind the scene, but her conviction in the business. And by the way, it was her money that started CVille Coffee. It was not my money.
Thank you, Betsy.
You're talking about $25,000. She put up like $300,000 for CVille Coffee and never blink an eye. And that's incredible.
Well, she believed in you. She believed in your vision.
And she believed in our lifestyle, because she, like me, she believed that time with our kids is the most important thing, and she'll do whatever happens to make it happen.
I love that.
That's fantastic. I mean, where do you even go with that? I mean, that's you really need to have the support. I mean, it's great when you have it. It's tough when you don't. But I mean, if you believe in yourself, you can do anything that you set your mind to, for sure.
Tim Millman watching. Hey, Toan.
Tim Millman.
Thank you.
I worked with Tim at Carrier, 27 years ago. Yeah, after Darn, Tim Millman.
Wow.
That is wonderful. Thanks. Hey, Tim.
Folks in New York, Pennsylvania, and Arkansas watching now. Bellamy Brown, who's running for city council, is watching the program as we speak. Give it a like and a share on any of the channels you're watching here at What's Barking Local, powered by Animal Connection. How about the work-family balance? I struggle with this. My wife is actively involved in the business. Right now, she is at home. The laptop is one knee, and our 17-month-old son is on her other knee. She is scheduling and posting across 17 pages, probably doing our e-newsletter and creating content for our Instagram as we speak.
She is multitasking.
She's multitasking. Wow. I often say to people, I have 2 kids, the 11-year-old business and the 17-month-old son, and they both need a lot of the same things: maturation, nurturing. They need to be fed. One's fed revenue, one's fed food. They need my attention. When did you start finding the balance?
First of all, so you're like me. You have an amazing wife.
Oh my gosh.
Who's
the backbone.
Exactly, absolutely. I think hats off to all partners, not just wife but husband, also or a significant other that believe in you. But so the great thing about entrepreneurship is it's not like you work less. You still work like crazy. But the thing is, you can decide when to work, and the balance for us was that when our kids were growing up, we volunteer. I served lunch at Tandem Friends School where our kids went. Went to every basketball game. But sometimes I stay till 3 a.m. building shelves and building stuff, when they're asleep. So you have that luxury of controlling your time, and it does take a heck of a lot of work. So, hats off.
I'm with you on that one. I mean, we're up at 5:30, walking, exercising. I'm usually working by 7. Sometimes I take stuff home to work on the weekends. I mean, anybody that's building a business or takes it really seriously is going to do that, whatever it takes to do that. But, I really try not to bring it home. The weekend times are pretty much sacred. The weekends are for using your mind in different ways, yet letting your mind relax, going to see something different and beautiful, and just being outdoors. And I'm pretty emphatic about that. And I am pretty emphatic about taking vacations. And going somewhere where I am off the grid. I mean, I may not be entirely off the grid, girls, but I'm speaking to my staff, who's just great. But just taking your mind off the grid. I mean, when I go to a ranch a couple times during the year, and I rarely, if ever, even use my phone because there's no phone reception out there. So just get off the internet and get off Facebook and just get off everything and just kind of see what's around you, and just refresh your mind.
What is, well said. What is next for CVille Coffee? There's probably no category that's more competitive in Charlottesville, Virginia than restaurants. There's probably no subcategory that's more competitive in Charlottesville, Virginia than coffee.
Sure. So, I don't know if you noticed, but we rebrand our CVille Coffee to become CVille Coffee and Wine.
I did notice that.
And so wine is our next frontier.
Okay.
And
I'm excited about this. Talk to me about this.
So
you're diversifying that revenue stream.
We're across the street. We're really excited about
it. But that to me, it's a love of mine is wine, because, God, 35 years ago, I was a tour guide in Napa Valley and Sonoma Valley. I used to take people to wineries and do tours, and so
amazing.
Wine is something I love, and so now that the kids are off to college, the stress of work is less. I mean, we're established. We build that brand, and all the shelves are built and all that. So now I can go back to my love, which is wine. And so what we do now is we travel to different parts of the world and to learn about wine, and it's combining interest and work at the same time. Like next month, we're going to be going to Oregon to the Willamette Valley.
Oh, I love that area. That's so nice.
Oh yeah, I haven't been, so I'm looking forward to that. So that's
ocean and mountains right there.
Yeah.
Oh, it's fantastic.
And we travel to Boden in Burgundy in France. We travel to Bordeaux. We travel to Mallorca to learn about wine. So now it's fun for us, and we're into a nice stretch where the pressure is not as much, and to bring what we learn and our passion to wine, and the whole essence of wine at CVille Coffee is under 20, great value, great taste.
So it's going to be a retail and a tasting?
Retail. Yes, retail and tasting. Yep,
that's smart.
Exactly. So, but we have this great Chardonnay from the Languedoc region in France. Beautiful Chardonnay, well balanced, $11. You can't beat it. And it's because we don't mark it up as much, because we don't need to. To me, this is just a fun thing. I don't need to make money off wine. Just mark it a little bit, and that's why, our customer gets
people sticky, they're going to be doing the food piece.
Right, exactly.
While enjoying the wine. So that's the vision right there.
Yeah. And for their music, when we have music there, you can get a great bottle of wine for
and beer
very
and music.
Inexpensive.
It's nice.
I love it. I love it. I love this interview. Claire Francis says, hi, Toan. A lot of people watching. Give it a like and a share. Patty Boden, this was a fantastic interview.
Well, I kind of knew it might be. I mean, Toan Toan is very animating. He's got a lot of experience in a lot of different places, and what a great neighbor to have. I'm very lucky at McIntyre to have good neighbors, and it's such a nice area to be in. I mean, I've just watched it grow since 2003, and it's just eclectic and fun, and it's beautifully maintained, and it's bright, and it's inviting, and it's just a great place to have a business right now.
Yeah, and you have added so much to that McIntyre. When you came in, we were so happy because like you say, when we first got there, it was just like a cement city. There was nothing, and so when you came down, we were very, very excited because to have somebody who's passionate about what they do. And when Keith Woodard bought the complex, I think 2010, he really invested in the place. So I keep thinking of the slogan for Austin, keep Austin weird.
Yeah.
Keep McIntyre Plaza weird.
Oh yeah.
and keep local businesses there.
It's one of the few. It's one of the few downtown mall as well. One of the few shopping and dining districts or epicenters that is like pretty much all local.
It is.
It really is.
We used to vacation on Block Island in Rhode Island.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you've been there. Yeah. Really wonderful. But I don't know if you know, but in the city charter for Block Island, they saying if you open a business, you have to run it. So that way, when you walk into a business, you walk into Animal Connection, and Patty's there to help you. You have this, owner who's passionate about it.
We need more of that.
Yeah, and
we do. You are right.
And that's what makes McIntyre Plaza wonderful because everybody, like Torque is down there, and he's running it, and
Seth and Aaron.
So we have wonderful people who's very passionate about what they do.
And what's funny is when they were getting ready to paint all those funky colors around there. I don't know if you remember this conversation, but I remember they presented a palette of colors, and it's the green and everything. Right. And they presented what they were going to do. And I was really passionate about what colors needed to be up front, like yours, that bright. I mean, this is feng shui. So we needed the welcoming, the oranges and the yellows and the things. Okay, I know they like aubergine and green, but that needs to be
in the back.
It needed to be elsewhere, right? Or as accents or something. But having that bright orange at the front of your building was almost essential to bring people in to that shopping center. It's a very good luck color, and so is the yellow. It's warm and welcoming, and things like that just meant a lot.
Sure.
This has been a great show.
Thank you, Jerry. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah. It was fun, huh?
It was fun.
Yeah.
I thoroughly enjoy this. This is what we're going to do with this program, guys. We're going to archive the show on Animal Connection VA, animalconnectionva.com. We'll archive it on ilovecville.com. We will promote and syndicate this show for 30 days on the I Love CVille Network, 17 Facebook pages, 17 Twitter accounts, a daily e-newsletter that goes out to over 108,000 inboxes. We're going to strip the audio from the show, and we're going to turn it into an iTunes podcast. Both will be done by COB today. I think Toan offered a lot of entrepreneurial knowledge and strategy and insight.
Exactly.
Also gave a lot of perspective of what makes CVille Coffee tick, and Patty Boden offered a lot of perspective on what's made her pet store the best for 17 plus years. What's Barking Local is powered by Animal Connection. If you have not been to McIntyre Plaza, if you have not been touched by the Animal Connection brand and by Patty's knowledge, and you have an animal, you need to get there tomorrow, okay? Because you're going to leave the value proposition of Animal Connection is not only the self-serve dog wash and not only the grooming and not only the best all-natural pet food, but it's the knowledge that you're going to leave from the store that comes from Patty and the decades of research that she's done in animals. And dogs, and keeping them happy and safe and making sure their quality of life is the best that it possibly can be. So I hope you guys have a great afternoon. This is What's Barking Local, Wednesdays at 3 o'clock on the I Love CVille Network. Enjoy your afternoon. Great show.
Yay.
All right.
Way to go, Toan.
Great job.
Thank you. Thank you.
Way to go.
Thank you.
That was...
It was a great show.
Yep.
We got one more. We filled 50